They won't, we have to have a planning commission together in order to be able to qualify for these, because it is going to get money. That's ideal. And so we're asking for people to step up to see if they can do this. So,
there also is grants out there.
We're interested in water and sewer on Sodom Road.
Just fill out there.
Okay, well, the property, 130 acres across the street from us, sold several months ago. And they're out there today, a whole slew of people are out there working. I can only assume that something big is going in over there. So you would think that has to have water and sewer again. To us, we think that's probably going to be accepted. You know where I'm talking about?
There would be a subdivision probably without water or sewer.
I don't know, but.
I don't know. I just know we need to see.
Yeah, at last month's meeting, there was a discussion about noise ordinance. It was discussed that really the only thing Tate Township has is the parking dog, ordinance. And, an issue was raised about whether we should look at a loud noise ordinance. And there were a couple of different, other townships that were suggested, so I took a look at those. At a high level, the Ohio Revised Code permits the trustees to only regulate within the residential districts of the zoning map. So, that's as far as our authority extends. I thought of all the ones that I looked at, the Tate Township resolution, it's entitled Resolution Prohibiting Excessive Noise in the Township, probably was, excuse me, the best, in my opinion, and I'm gonna sort of summarize what it said, and we can talk about whether we think that works or not. It prohibits noise, and it defines the noise a little bit, but essentially in such a manner or to be of such intensity and duration as to create unreasonable noise or loud sound, which causes inconvenience and annoyance to persons of ordinary sensibility. So it's sort of a sliding scale of reasonableness, if you will. It did specifically provide that noise would be automatically unreasonable if the sound is between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., which I think makes sense, right overnight. And is of such a character, intensity, and duration as to unreasonably disturb the peace and the quiet of the community, or to be detrimental to the life or health of the community. Right? Their resolutions set forth particular factors that are relevant to reasonableness, and so that looks to complaints of neighbors, the time of day, the intensity and duration of the noise, the type of noise, whether there are alternative means available without the excessive noise. It provided exemptions as well. So the exemptions are going to include things like noise from safety signals or warning devices, noise resulting from authorized emergency vehicles when responding to a call, noise resulting from any work made necessary to restore property to a safe condition, or any actions that need to happen to protect from an imminent exposure to danger, any noise resulting from activities from which there's a permit that's been granted, noise resulting from the normal use and maintenance of churches, schools, football, baseball, soccer fields, public and private golf courses, and publicly owned parks. And then in addition to those, I would also add, I guess I would recommend that we set forth a specific exemption required by the Ohio Revised Code, which is agricultural related activity. That is exempted as a matter of the code. I would just set it forth here so that there's not a question, and I know that that's important to our community. The process that's set forth in here is essentially sort of a notice of a cease and desist, a referral to mediation, and a potential, I guess, court relief, civil relief, which I think is consistent, Deputy Pike, with what you talked about at the last meeting.
Correct. So basically what you're talking about there is almost parallel with disorderly conduct is is basically what you're looking at. So if I've got unreasonable noise, if I've got, we've got a party going on at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, that to the point where it's unreasonable noise, I'll be honest with you, I'm just going to charge you disorderly conduct.
Well, but didn't you at the last month's meeting say that disorderly conduct didn't kick in until a certain time period, was 11?
Well, it also depends on the unreasonableness of it.
Okay,
I mean, if I'm feuding with my neighbor and I just want to set speakers up on the property line and just blast loud music in the middle of the afternoon, that's unreasonable.
correct, and I think
So it's not
this
necessarily the
provides for
specific
that too.
time, but
Yes.
it helps to have that time. And you mentioned on there 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., that's what the prosecutor's office recommends for the disorderly conduct
Okay,
section. So, but it would, you could charge, I mean, you can still enact it if you like, but I would probably still just go along, because it's almost verbatim with disorderly conduct.
Okay.
So, but that's up to you folks.
That's how that rate will be.
yeah, I guess the question, W. Pike, what you just sort of said was that disorderly conduct would go just as far as something outlining what we're talking about here, is that right?
Correct.
And so the question I think we need to consider is whether this is necessary. And I think what prompted this discussion was, I forgot your name. Annette. Annette raised an issue at our last meeting, and the disorderly conduct statute doesn't seem to help her.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
I just want to say, there's not like a time frame on the barking dog thing, correct? I slept in my basement 2 nights this weekend. Because that was my only recourse. Deputy Pike came to my home. He was on duty.
Yeah.
He swung by. I printed some stuff off about low frequency intrusion. It's the bass sound, is what it is that permeates everything. It doesn't have like a stopping point. So I printed off this. I'll give you a copy. Sure. If you just like to read about it. It creates anxiety for me, like every day. I was telling Mr. Grover's wife here, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go home and it's gonna be like something. Am I gonna sleep in the basement tonight? He turns it on all hours.
Yeah,
Don't
and I
know.
think the statute, the resolution that I was looking at didn't have a time frame.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, it doesn't. It prohibits noise in such a manner to be of such an intensity and duration as to be unreasonable, right? Separately from that, the time frame just said if it happens during this time frame and it checks these other boxes, it's definitely violative. It definitely violates the ordinance, right?
It's
So
really
it's
like
different.
to feel like a company is not gonna put out at 11:30 at night, you know? I know, but that's how I feel like right now. I can't invite anybody to my home because I don't know anything going on. The other night, I was like, Saturday night, I slept in the basement after he left. And then Sunday night, I thought, okay, fine, it's quiet, we got dinner, with a sleeping tablet, because I just really wanted to go to sleep. I'm just about asleep. It was probably about 11:15, 11:30. I mean, we live, probably 1,000 feet, wouldn't you say? Through the woods.
I'd have to look at the aerial. I couldn't tell you. I'm not familiar with where your property
It's
line
probably about
is.
1,000 feet through the woods, but there's nothing stopping the bumping thing.
What time was that Sunday? Sorry.
It's probably like 11:15, 11:30.
Did you call?
No, man, I like
I can do something else.
I like to take it to
When I'm there Saturday at
So-
7:30 in the evening,
I
and they got a
understand that.
cookout going on. There's not a whole,
I know.
call me after
He's gonna do
11.
it every single day if you like show up at his door. So I'm trying to resolve this as peacefully
I get
as
you.
possible without him knowing that it's me, it's probably all videotaped,
Well-
but anyway.
Well, here's the thing with that also, for complaint. We're gonna, it can't be an anonymous complaint that we're gonna charge
Oh, no, I
somebody.
will call you.
So it would have to be, get a
But-
statement from
I
the
just
person.
I wanna
and so
understand
forth.
where you said you could do something at 11:15,
Sure,
right? And is that under like the premise?
that would be under the disorderly conduct.
So if we have a statute that doesn't have a time frame, but
Okay.
mirrors the conduct, like the concept of disorderly conduct,
Okay,
that would then provide you with some leeway. Is that fair?
it would, but 9 o'clock at night, the stadium at the high school.
But there's an exemption for that,
Okay.
right? So there's an exemption for like football games
Right.
and things like that.
So it could, but then you gotta look at, is it unreasonable?
100%.
Because if there's not,
If I'm sleeping
having
on
something
days,
going
then
off
it's
at 1 o'clock in the morning versus 12 o'clock in the afternoon is, no pun intended, it's night and day for reasonableness.
Sure, but you had said, I thought last month, that if somewhere, if you were standing in a house and the windows were down.
That was Williamsburg's townships.
So I looked for a Williamsburg Township resolution and I could not find any.
I couldn't
Hmm.
either.
So I found a Batavia one, so I thought maybe that's sort of.
Because their whole idea was around the Clear Mountain Park thing there that they have there on Old 32, where they had a live band there and everything else. Where they had the food truck park thing.
If
So-
we provided a definition, right, so there's a call out for a time period in which it's sort of per se unreasonable. If we described, there's nothing that would prevent us from doing another example of something that would be per se unreasonable. Like if you're in somebody's house and the windows are down and you can still hear the noise. Right, that's what you were suggesting that.
I only brought that up because that's what Williamsburg
That's what I'm
Township
saying, they
has
had
proposed.
something like that.
That's gonna be up to you folks. I enforce it, you write it.
I understand, but I also wanna make something that is
So,
enforceable and helpful, right? We don't need just other laws on the books for no reason.
I just, yeah, I mean,
Right, I don't wanna just
I
put
get
something
that.
on there that doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't address her issue and
it
also
is,
doesn't.
the unreasonableness is also going to go to intent, what their intent is of displaying that music or the loud noise, what their intent is. If their intent isn't to cause it because they're having a party, but if it's for purposely to annoy somebody, I would look at that at all hours.
Sure, and it does note, the definition does note that if it causes inconvenience and annoyance of persons of ordinary sensibilities, right? So if you think about sort of just your normal, ordinary person on the street, right? If they're in a situation such as she has been describing, I mean, you would consider that as well, right?
I would consider that as well, and also if I'm up here on Sunset Drive, I've got one person complain that, yes, this music's too loud, but you got 4 or 5 other residents says, no, it's fine, it don't bother us. So I don't have the perfect answer for you on it.
I don't think there is one.
I
Sure.
don't, so.
And I don't think we're gonna try to craft the perfect answer, I think we're just trying to craft
Yeah.
something that makes sense.
I mean, I think disorderly conduct pretty much covers it, but that's up to you folks, you know?
So if we put it on the books, you go down there, and just, walks into your house, also.
Well, then you
Well-
might wanna look at decibel levels, or
Well,
do you wanna look at how far away it is?
When is your disorderly conduct, that 11 at night till 7 in the morning?
Depends on what it is and what the intent is. So, I mean, if you're at a cookout at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and you can hear your neighbors, or if you're having music, your neighbor can hear it, versus 2 o'clock in the morning, you're out there with your band in your garage just because you just want to make some noise and have fun. Hey, tone it down because it's 2 o'clock in the morning, people's trying to sleep. So,
I would just say that there's a big difference between music and the low frequency bass thumping sound.
But see, now that's a matter of opinion. though.
Yeah.
Depends on who you're gonna talk to and what kind of music they like and what they like to
That's
listen to.
Let's just say
Right.
that, obviously, like
That
you said,
permeates through everything.
I get what you're saying, 100%, but I gotta look at it from the other side of it too. They have a right to freedom of expression to listen to what they wanna listen to. I can't violate their
At this point,
constitutional
we're just getting ideas here, and we are looking into it.
Thank you.
Obviously, there's more things that we need to look into here and get some other advice. So,
Yeah, what I would suggest, let me formalize something. I would love to talk to you further about
That's
this
fine.
and get your
Absolutely.
ideas and your experience. And then, once I can sort of incorporate what you're saying, I can then talk to our legal counsel as well and make sure we're not running out of anything. And then I'd like to try to have something back to distribute by our regular meeting. So we get something.
so we are working on it.
Okay, and I would like to give you
I'd like to have that,
this,
yes,
it's from like
thank you.
National Institute of Health about how it affects its well-being.
Thank you. Yep. Yes, thank you.
Good. Next thing we have is public participation. Sign and sheet here real quick. So what was your?
Annette.
Okay. So we will be moving into public participation. Public participation in township meetings is encouraged and in an effort to conduct township business in an orderly and effective manner. The Board of Trustees has adopted the following rules for public participation and conduct at a township meeting. Public participation at the regular meeting, the board is limited to 5 minutes per individual speaker. All comments and questions shall be addressed to the chairperson of the board. Okay, so the first person we have on the list is Lucinda Chandler.
Should I turn the podium towards you since I'm.
Yeah, we just have that separate speaker here also.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring up again about minutes and keeping records. You know, I've brought this up before, it's still a problem. If you look at, White versus Clinton County Board of Commissioners, 1996, it covers the ORC 121.22, ORC 149.3, and 305.10. It imposes a duty on all public meetings to maintain full and accurate records of the proceedings. It requires contents for minutes to be full and accurate. RC 121.22, 149.43, and 305, when read together, impose a duty on all public entities to maintain a full and accurate record of the proceedings. For public records maintained under RC 121.22 and 305, full and accurate minutes must contain sufficient facts and information to permit the public to understand and appreciate the rationale behind the relevant public body's decision. To go on further, the Ohio Supreme Court has provided some guidance by stating that the minutes of a public body must contain sufficient facts and information to permit the public to understand and appreciate the rationale behind the public decision. As a result, the minutes should accurately reflect the decision-making process leading up to a vote, including the date of the session. And furthermore, if you look at Ohio Auditor's Township Meeting Handbook. In order for the minutes of the Township Trustees meetings to satisfy public record keeping statutes, they must meet at least one of the following criteria: audio or video recordings, word-for-word transcripts, discussions indicating the identity of the speaker, chronology, and the substance of the speaking. And if you look at the minutes from May 14th, while it has the name of the participants, it doesn't state anything of what any of those people talk about. So simply worthless, or someone that wasn't at the meeting and, heard what was said. And again, White versus Clinton County Board of Commissioners, 76 Ohio Street, 416-424-1996, is in regard to ORC 121.22, and they were sued successfully. You don't need that in this township, so, we need to do something about the minutes. Now, it is fine to videotape, but you need to have a transcript that's written by the fiscal officer that states what's in there. It has to be written by, it can't, you can do a transcript off of your video, but it has to be handwritten out in her hand in order to be relevant. The other thing is, you have to take into consideration is that you have to have ADA compliance, which means not only do you have to have a video, but you need to have it written. You look at other townships, and their minutes that are available on their website, they almost all have video and, pretty much verbatim written minutes of the meeting. I hope I don't have to bring this up again, but, we're on the verge of being sued because those minutes, quite frankly, like I say, on the May 14th minutes, there are many, many things like that. But if I hadn't been there, the average person would not be able to understand what happened. And while it's fine to have the video, not everything is audible on those videos for someone here. And there are people that, have hearing impairment, so it doesn't help. We need to have transcripts that are clear and legible. Thank you.
On the part of the audio and word for word, instead of in the auditors, I didn't catch the reference to the audio. It said the audio and the two word for word.
It's from the Ohio Township. And,
ADA compliance issue, the transcripts being word for word.
it could be.
Yeah.
As far as I can
This
tell,
issue too,
there hasn't been a lawsuit on a county specifically on that, but there have been many other entities besides townships that have been sued on ADA compliance, many colleges and whatnot, so it's very possible. Now, I haven't found one yet, I guess I could go and dig for one.
But that's the concern,
It
right,
is
that
the
you're
concern.
raising with the
It is.
transcript, that the
Correct.
importance there is, yes, it's great to have the video, but obviously the flexibility here. A transcript then would be your alternative and or thorough minutes, right?
Correct. And I believe, Shelby and I were having this conversation, that we don't believe necessarily that you could take the transcript directly from the person taking the minutes could listen to it and write them down. As far as letting it electronically do that, we're not sure that that would be acceptable by the powers that be. Because, just like the audio or the video, sometimes the electronics don't understand the relation they're saying, just like when you talk to your computer and it doesn't always spit out the same thing.
Is closed captioning a possibility on our videos? Does anybody know?
It should be, my understanding is that that's Zoom. And I believe Zoom does have that capability.
Is it just, it might be something we have to look at
Correct.
after?
Correct.
Maybe,
It has a capability, but it's a little.
well, it would be something,
It would be,
right?
it would have to be edited, that's what I'm saying, that's the reason you can't
Sure.
share directly from the transcript, from the audio, or from the video, because sometimes it doesn't understand a certain person's
But it may
But
be
yeah.
helpful,
But
right,
it'd be
if we're
very
watching
helpful.
it
Absolutely.
from an ADA
Correct.
compliance perspective, and then
You could certainly use that to pull the minutes from.
Sure.
Anything that was,
The May 14th minutes, the really concerned about is the statement at the very end where it just lists the rules and not the topic.
Correct. Public's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We looked at them, you change it. I'm gonna look at all posted. We looked at,
Been revised?
yes, because I read that it had to talk about that.
Not out.
I'm good with that. I'm saying we revised the minutes.
Okay.
I know about it. Because we had to tape it, because that was the meeting you weren't here. Yes, so we do have minutes that do reflect that, so I'm gonna find out and we'll get it posted. But yes, that's a valid concern, because that was when we raised the action.
Very good. I appreciate that.
Thanks for raising that, because I assumed it was posted and we'll get it, but it's not the right one.
Thank you very much.
Okay, second person on the list is, Jody Wilson.
Good evening. I believe, it was last meeting that was brought up, that there was an article in the Claremont County Sun. And may I approach for what I'm reading? It can be taken directly from there and put in the minutes. On June 27th, Megan Alley, the editor of the Claremont County Sun, was contacted regarding the article that was in the Claremont County Sun, January 17th, 2024, regarding the Tate Township January 9th meeting. She was asked where she got the information from, and the minutes had not even been approved yet for the January 9th monthly meeting. She stated that she got the information from the Tate Township website from the summary minutes, which I know now have been removed. And it was explained to her, I spoke to her, it was explained to her that she got the information from the Tate Township website from the summary minutes. It was explained to her that those are not the official minutes. Megan said that she would have to look at the website to confirm, which she did, and it was explained to her by me that the summary minutes have been removed from the Township website. She pulled the January 9th, 2024 minutes, and she apologized. That misinformation was printed in the newspaper, the Claremont County Sun. She saw that Wilson, Durbin, Reed were the trustees at that time, not Gary Reed, Bob Redden, John Wilson, and Rusty Durbin, all four. She said that it is what the minutes summary stated, and that is why the article was printed that way. She also was pleased that she saw that the monthly meetings were now being recorded. She stated that the article would be retracted. Megan was very apologetic and stated that since the information was on the Tate Township website, that is why she wrote the article. She also commented that she was pleased to see that the monthly meetings are being recorded now. So she did keep her word. On January 4th, when they approached, since you do the website. Correction in January 18th, 2024, edition of the Claremont County Sun. In the article highlighting Tate Township meeting roundup, trustees approved zoning changes to 2 parcels. Fire department receives $10,000 in grant and more. It was incorrectly included that the Tate Township Board of Trustees met on January 9th for its regular meeting. Trustees Gary Reed, Bob Redden, Don Wilson, and Rusty Durbin were present for the meeting. Written correctly, the article should have stated that trustees Gary Reed, John Wilson, and Rusty Durbin were present for the meeting. So she did correct that in the paper, and she did that on July 4th. Also on the minutes. I know the time here. When you go out to the Tate Township minutes, it's like, where to find Waldo? You can't find anything out there. So, when you go out to the Tate Township website, there's a little icon that says, government trustee meetings. You click on it, then it takes you to looking for previous archived Tate Township meeting page. When you click on that, it takes you to, it has approved meeting minutes. And when I pull it up, there's a thing here that will explain what I'm talking about. If you go and look at the top, where the archived Tate Township minutes are, it has 2023 approved meeting minutes. If you go all the way to the end, you see December, but nothing after that. So I started looking some more. If you go to the 2022 approved meeting minutes, pop down to November. It says November 23rd, you guys have the information. And actually, those minutes in 2023 are in 2022. When you click on 23, it's actually 23. Thank you.
On that, obviously, we've seen some things here, things that have been brought to our attention. Thank you for bringing them to us. You are working on trying to get updated stuff. If you miss stuff, please send us a note. We'll see if correctly with you. There were some things that, done, and it was an honest attempt to try to get the information out there. We'll have to work out the bugs. It is our intention.
And yes, I don't live in Tate Township, but Williamsburg Township people have even said, I've gone out there because I'm involved. And it's not just Tate Township and the minutes.
Let's focus on 2024. We'll make it keep better, whatever not, okay, we're gonna keep it up, okay, just, we'll make it better.
False information is still out there
I
now.
know, we're one, right.
Thank you.
Next one on the list is legal costs.
Do I have to stand over there? I am a cancer patient and I have trouble with my equilibrium. I don't want anyone to think I came to the meeting drinking. I'm sorry.
We're good with.
Okay. Most of what I wanted to talk about, what you explained tonight, I really think that Mr. Barrett, I probably just need to speak with him about getting a few more things worked out as to what we're trying to do. So I think I've got that taken care of. The only other thing was, our property is out on Starling Road, and we've heard from several people that that's the racetrack for Bethel. And the traffic out there is horrendous. I mean, the speed. We have cars literally racing each other on that road. We have cars and trucks going by so fast. I have kids, teenagers who are driving, new drivers, and I'm horrified for them to pull off of our property into that road. In fact, he and I go and stand in the road and make sure they can get out without somebody coming flying one way or they fly both ways. And I just wondered, is there anything that can be done about that? I mean, it's really bad. I don't know if anybody else lives on Starling Road. But
We've had situations like this with roads at different times. Officer Pike, what we normally do is what he can do is he goes out and during his time that he's serving, he will sit out there and make more. He just sit there and keep an eye on people, not all 24/7 or anything like that. he'll make more appearances out there. It's honest when we have issues, the more he shows up and stuff like that, and see things, they tend to go some other places. I'm sure Officer Pike has back there.
Is there a particular time of the day?
We're usually out there in the afternoons when we go up. We live in Batavia, so we come over late afternoon. It's not so hot.
I want you to promise me one thing. Don't go out on the road to see if cars are coming. That's 10 times more dangerous than if they hit a vehicle. There's no protection around you if you're in the roadway.
I promise you,
Okay.
we're not out in the roadway. We're to where we can
Okay.
see from both
Okay.
directions.
So you're much safer in that vehicle when you're surrounded. So I understand your concern. My daughter, she's not here tonight. She's here with me a lot. She's a new driver too.
Mhm.
I live on 133. They fly up and down there at 133 all the time. I had the same concerns as you. It's almost every road in every county, every township throughout the state. I'll get out there and I'll try to see if we can't get them to slow down.
Thank you.
So.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Now,
That's it. Thank you very much.
no problem, thank you. Keep coming out. Again, thanks everybody for coming out and participation.
To see you up there personally. That's not good to see you. I'm sorry. I tell you, tell them all that,